Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a lot to cover today. So first of all, welcome to the webinar. This is How Are You Feeling? Healthy Habits for Your Physical, Mental, and Emotional Health, a webinar from Learning Ally, the College Success Program. My name is Katie Otaggio, and I am the Engagement Operations Manager for the College Success Program. I am a white female with shoulder-length light brown hair, wearing a gray and white horizontal striped shirt and brown glasses. I'm sitting on my back porch in my home office. I will pass you over to my colleague, Abigail, who's going to run through a few housekeeping items. Abigail?
Welcome, everyone. I'm Abigail Shaw. I'm a white woman with brown hair. It's up in a bun today, and I'm wearing a sweater with large burgundy and gray stripes. And I just want to provide a little bit of welcome you all first, welcome, and also to give you a little bit of orientation about how this webinar will work. We are going to have some conversation with a few of our mentors today about wellness, and then at the end, around 5:45 Eastern, we'll start Q&A. So feel free to add questions in the chat, but we won't be responding to them until later. And at that point, folks are welcome to raise their hand and ask their questions. I'll give you some information later on about the quick keys to do that. But thank you very much for attending, and sit back and enjoy the discussion.
Great. Thanks, Abigail. So to introduce you to who you're going to be hearing from today, our speakers, the first one is Liliya Asadullina. Lily has a Bachelor's of Science in Integrative Healthcare Holistic Medicine from Metropolitan State University of Denver. She is also a licensed massage therapist from the Academy of Massage Therapy and Bodyworks. Lily enjoys being a wellness educator and coaching individuals through their health journeys. Lily immigrated from Russia to the United States in the year of 1995 to obtain medical treatment. She had a rare cancer of the retinas called retinoblastoma, and due to the side effects from radiation therapy, Lily got a secondary cancer 10 years later. Having many struggles with her health and overcoming these battles, Lily is inspired to help others with their health challenges. In her free time, she enjoys learning, spending time outdoors in nature, and spending time with those around her. Some of her hobbies include hiking, biking, going on adventures, traveling, and reading. She especially enjoys meeting new people and learning about what their passions are in life. Next, we have Brianna Murray. Brianna grew up in South Carolina, but she relocated to New Jersey in 2019 to pursue her passion of working with students with disabilities. Along with working as a mentor for several years, Brianna works as a program coordinator for the EDGE program, a pre-employment program for blind or visually impaired high school students in New Jersey. Brianna has a BA in psychology and English and an MA in clinical mental health counseling, both from Winthrop University. She has experience with varying degrees of vision from birth due to Leber's congenital amaurosis. In her spare time, Brianna enjoys reading, writing, playing with her retired guide dog Hops, and her working seeing eye dog Quebec. Brianna enjoys helping others. She utilizes her life experiences, both positive and negative, to improve the educational opportunities for current students with blindness or low vision. And we also have Anthony Butler. Anthony was born in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City, where he lived with both his parents, but often found himself in trouble as an adolescent. He attended 5 high schools in the greater New York City area before dropping out at the age of 17 and getting his GED. In the summer of 2008, he was the victim of a shooting that resulted in the loss of his vision. After problems with his family and nowhere else to turn, Anthony moved into a homeless shelter. While in the shelter, Anthony was introduced to his mentor, and he credits this relationship with changing the entire trajectory of his life. Anthony has a BFA from the New School and an MSW from New York University. Since graduating from his social work program, Anthony has held a number of positions in the workforce, such as the social worker for young men of color at the Kings County District Attorney's Office in Brooklyn, New York, and a recovery specialist with community access. Anthony recently relocated to Minneapolis, where he works as a therapist for offenders of sex crimes. When he isn't working, Anthony often participates in multi-sport endurance competitions, which has afforded him the opportunity to travel to over 6 countries and half of the United States. As a social worker, Anthony strives to be an advocate for the underserved and help people navigate the many hardships that they may endure on a daily basis. And before we get started, I also wanted to share a little disclaimer before we dig into some of this stuff, since we are dealing with some medical and health types of conversations. So this webinar serves as a starting point to give students some ideas about handling physical, mental, and emotional stress. Learning Ally has vetted the backgrounds of the speakers and has determined that they have sufficient knowledge and qualifications to offer general health advice. However, Learning Ally does not offer health opinions as an organization, and the speakers do not represent Learning Ally. Always do your own research when adding a new resource into your life, including any suggested in this webinar. For medical advice, consult your physician. For psychological advice, consult a licensed counselor or psychologist. If you are experiencing severe symptoms of COVID-19, such as difficulty breathing, please call 911. And with that, I will pass it over to Lily.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lilia, but I go by Lily because it's easier to say. So I am a white female, and I am wearing a white t-shirt, and I have brown hair that is shoulder length. Well, a little longer than that, past shoulder length. And I'm wearing some sunglasses right now. So today we'll start by identifying wellness. The wellness is the state of being healthy in body and let me start again. Wellness is the state of being healthy in body and mind, especially as a result of deliberate effort. So whatever effort you're putting in is what you'll be getting, whether you're exercising or eating healthy, whatever that may be. And I'll also identify physical health. So physical health, so we talked about wellness being a combined physical and mental health. So physical health is the measurement of how well your body is functioning on a physical level. Brianna, would you like to identify mental health?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So I'm Brianna. I have brown hair. I'm a white female. I have brown hair that is kind of between chin length and shoulder length, and I'm wearing a green and blue patterned dress. So for the definition of mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also determines how we react to problems, interact with others, and make choices. Mental health can change due to biological factors, genetics, or life experiences. Some warning signs to look out for that kind of warn you that maybe your mental health is in jeopardy, or you might want to seek assistance or learn some coping mechanisms include changes in eating or sleeping, pulling away from people and usual activities, having low or no energy, feeling numb, feeling unusually confused, angry, forgetful, or on edge, experiencing severe mood swings, having persistent thoughts you can't get out of your head, hearing voices and believing things that aren't true, thinking of harming yourself or others, and an inability to do normal daily tasks.
Okay, great. Thank you, Brianna. So when is our physical wellness in jeopardy? So what happens is if we're not sleeping well or if we're not eating well, a lot of times our body gets out of balance, and even other factors, environmental factors, can contribute to it. So our body, everything in our body works as a team. All our cells, organs, the blood flow, all of that is working together. So if there's any kind of outside factor interrupting it, it can fall out of balance, and that's when we can fall ill. And stuff like I've mentioned, if we're not getting enough sleep, sleep deprivation is a big thing when we're in college. We're up all hours of the night trying to finish up assignments and whatnot. And yeah, so that's one way it can jeopardize. So it can cause fatigue and not sleeping enough fatigue. We can start getting sick getting colds or viruses or stuff along those lines, feeling nauseous, getting not being able to control our body temperature. So one thing that I have done during this pandemic to become healthier is incorporate exercise into my daily routine. So even just 10 minutes of cardio, I just go out and walk, or I do a mini workout in my room. Just some jogging in place, some squats, push-ups, and some leg lifts. Brianna, would you like to tell us about how you've what you've incorporated in your daily life during the pandemic to help your well-being?
Sure. So a few things that I've employed. One big thing is because we're all working from home now, I found it really important to set aside a specific workspace. So like originally I was just kind of sitting with my laptop on my couch, and then when work would end, I would just, fold my laptop and then read a book on my couch. So I wasn't really separating work and my normal life. So more recently, I've begun working at my kitchen table so that once work is done, I get away from the kitchen table, then I can go relax on the couch or do something like that. So that separation has really helped me mentally. I've also found it really important to find what defines self-care for me. So for me, it is reading a book or taking a walk with my guide dog. Both of those things I enjoy a lot. For you, it could be something totally different. You just have to find what gives you that kind of energy and help to separate from work.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. Anthony, would you like to share one way or a couple ways you have managed to maintain wellness during the pandemic?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I mean, one thing I've done is definitely just try to stay connected, whether it's been the CSP meetup calls on Tuesdays and Fridays, or just reaching out to people more. I definitely just try to stay connected to people. It's easy to become isolated during this time, and but we have to check in on the people, and also I think connections is just important. Another thing was also just to be mindful of what I'm putting into my body. I've made more of an effort to just buy more vegetables and buy less just junk food, no more potato chips, no cookies, nothing sweet, just trying to make sure, because I know I'm not being as active. So at least if I could control what's going into my body, at least I could see some results that way. So like you said, wellness is more of an effort. So I've been trying to make more of an effort than just being mindful of what I eat.
Wow, that's wonderful. No cookies, no sugary treats.
No.
Give you credit. That's one thing I struggle with. All right, great. Thank you for sharing. All right, so what are some foods we could include in our diet to relieve stress, especially during this important time? So I will give some, and then I will ask the other panelists if they have any suggestions. So let's see here. There's this website, it's called Healthline. I find a lot of good resources on there. And actually during my classes in college, we used Healthline as one of our web resources. And so here are some foods that you can find in your college cafeteria. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are really good because they have a lot of nutrients. And one hormone that they have been proven to help to help reduce stress, there's a hormone in our bodies called cortisol. And usually cortisol is regulated very well in our body, but chronic stress can cause cortisol levels to go up or to dysfunction. And that, because of that, other things can come about like inflammation, pain, or other types of physical symptoms could arise if cortisol levels are off. And so sweet potatoes are a good source to help regulate that. Eggs are another good one. They're identified as nature's multivitamin, very nutrient dense, have so many things in eggs like amino acids, antioxidants, which are really good for stress relieving antioxidants. And they have this one compound called choline, which is found in whole eggs, and that plays a big role in brain health. Another good source of food is fatty fish like mackerel or herring or salmon. I'm sure you can find some salmon or sardines. Not the most exciting food sometimes, but grilled salmon, for example, could be a good food to turn to in your cafeteria. It has omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and just a lot of nutrients to help reduce stress in your body, and also good for brain health. Sunflower seeds are another good one. Stress reducing vitamins in there, such as magnesium, selenium, manganese, zinc, and B vitamins, and copper in there. That's good. Broccoli is another one. I'm sure you can find some broccoli somewhere in your cafeteria. It has magnesium, vitamin C, and folate in there. And that's shown to help with stabilizing mood. Green tea is another good one. Has a lot of antioxidants and a lot of different chemical compounds to help reduce stress. So those are just a few different foods that you could find in your cafeteria. But yeah, and definitely you can find this online. Just type in stress relieving foods or foods to relieve stress, and you should find it. But yeah, Brianna and Anthony, do you have anything else to add to that?
Brianna, you would like to go first? Would you like to go first?
Sure. So I just wanted to add one thing. Something that I've been doing during the pandemic more recently is drinking a gallon of water a day. And water is super important. Once you're dehydrated, everything kind of goes downhill. So I think water consumption is something to remember, especially if you're drinking a lot of caffeine and coffee and trying to stay up for exams. Water is a really good thing to balance that out.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. Lots of water. I don't drink coffee, but lots of tea. I do not put any sugar in my tea. I use just either honey or apple cider vinegar, either or. But definitely lots of Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. I just every Sunday I just kind of make like a big pot of like Brussels sprouts and broccoli, and just keep that there for the week, and just add a different protein to it every day of the week. Whether it's ground turkey, whether it's this chicken, poultry, which is I really appreciate, and salmon. I really do love salmon and shellfish. But definitely just try to like plan your meals. You know, if it's easier to like on Sundays cook big portions and try to ration out through the week as opposed to trying to cook every day. I mean, because you guys are studying and you guys are in school and you have many like time commitments. So when you guys order in food, the portions are larger, which could also cause to just like gaining more weight. So I encourage you guys to just like try to meal plan during the week, but lots of vegetables, leafy greens, Swiss chard, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and just add a protein every day. It becomes easier.
Great. Thank you, Anthony. I totally agree with what both you and Brianna said. More water. I found that drinking more water helps me stay more alert, even if I'm just taking a couple sips every 20 minutes or so. And also, yes, shellfish were actually on the list of stress relieving foods, and so were all the leafy greens that you mentioned. Great. Thanks for all that info. All right, our next question: how can you develop a fitness routine if you haven't been active before or are getting back into exercise. Anthony, would you like to talk on that?
Yes. So with me, I think it started with setting a goal for myself, but and also, like I said, looking for those connections. So there's plenty of like organizations out there like Achilles International or Catapult located in Texas, or Dare to Try or Paraguide that has gone virtual. You know what I mean? And they have like plans that are more easy, and they have plans that are more advanced. But you know, some nights of the week they just have meditation. Some nights they just have like yoga, accessible yoga. Some nights they just have like doing planks, you know? So I just encourage people to start slow, you know, like me, I'm not a fan of doing push-ups at all. You know, I hate push-ups, but you know, but I'll just start with planks. And if I'm doing a plank, maybe I'll just get on my forearms, some of the planks, because it's easier to support my body that way. So you're not going to like just, you can't make up for like lost time in one day. You know, it's going to take time. So just start off slow, you know, get a yoga mat or something that's comfortable, you're going to be comfortable being on the floor with, and just start slowly. You know, how I started, I just started doing like a plank each commercial break for like 2 hours, you know. So I would do like a 30-second commercial plank, a 30-second plank each commercial break for like 2 hours. And then that's how I started my fitness routine, you know, and then I just started to build on from there.
Great, thank you. Yes, agree. Like whenever you get a minute, just add in one little exercise at a time. Even if it's just jogging in place for a minute, or even jogging during a commercial or something like that too. I have started trying to add a little bit of that into my routine, just doing a little bit of jogging in place during like some free time, or jumping jacks, or like Anthony was saying, planks too.
Yeah.
Planks actually work a lot of different muscles. And over time, you will build up to being able to do a whole workout routine. It just takes time. Like each week, add a couple more minutes or add one more exercise to your routine. Brianna, do you have anything else to add to that?
I think you guys have pretty much covered it really well. I do a lot of walking, and it sounds really basic, but it's really good to just get outside and walk with my guide dog. I also have a treadmill for those kind of rainy days. So I think walking is underestimated, but really important.
Great, yes. Walking is great. It very simple, and it does a lot. You're working a lot of muscles when you're doing that. Great, so our next question is, what are some breathing exercises one can do to calm the mind? So I try to do breathing exercises whenever I'm having anxiety or feel frustrated. It really helps me calm down and be able to come back to being level-headed. I'm going to go through, Abigail, do we have time for a couple, or is one all we have time for?
Yeah, maybe if, I don't know if Brianna and Anthony have anything else to add, and then we could go into a demonstration of some of these breathing exercises to cope with stress.
Okay, yeah. Brianna, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things to do along the lines of breathing exercises is called PMR, which is progressive muscle relaxation. And that's something I use a lot. So the gist of it is you just kind of start, usually I tend to start at the bottom of my body, so I start with my toes. And I think about every muscle and just very slowly in my head move up the body and focus on relaxing each of those muscles very slowly. And I can do it, you know, I can spend a lot of time doing it and sit there for 20 minutes and do it really slowly. Or if I'm in the middle of a really stressful situation, I can just focus on my body and focus on each of those muscles. I personally get really tense when I'm stressed. And so that's something that's really helped relax me a lot. There's also a lot of PMR exercises on YouTube. There's some that kind of involve some like imagery and guided meditation as you relax and things like that. So if you're really interested in doing more of that kind of thing, look up progressive muscle relaxation exercises on YouTube.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That is a good one. I love that one. I just feel the tension leaving my body whenever I do that. And yeah, definitely a great one. Anthony, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'm big on just guided imagery exercises. So, you know, sometimes I just kind of sit, cross my legs. I also like put my tongue to the roof of my mouth just to make sure my whole body is connected, and I just feel as one, and just kind of take really deep breaths from the stomach, from the diaphragm, you know, because your stomach does have neurons. So you know, that's why you feel a lot of the stress in your stomach, because you know your brain and your stomach is so is connected, you know. So make sure you breathe from your stomach, use your diaphragm. It's also the biggest muscle in the body, and just take long deep breaths in and out, and just picture a place you want to go, you know. I'm big on that, just visualizing things, and just kind of it helps me set goals, and it helps me just relax and just go to another place when my mind is feeling cluttered. So just deep breaths and just guided imagery.
Great. Thank you for sharing. So we can go into a couple of those. Let's do a simple breathing exercise where we will imagine something, and then we'll take 3 deep breaths as we're imagining this. So picture yourself in a peaceful place, wherever that may be. For me, for example, is the beach. Sitting on the beach and the sunshine just shining down on me, and just listening to the crashing waves, and wherever it may be for you, maybe the mountains, or just being outside somewhere, or maybe in your room, nice and quiet space. And what I like to do is just bow my head down so that I'm relaxing while I'm doing this. And when you breathe in, make sure you're breathing in very slowly and holding it for a couple seconds, and then breathing out. And you can even put both of your hands on your stomach to feel yourself being able to fill your diaphragm with the cleansing air as you breathe in, and then feel it expanding as you breathe in, and then shrinking as you breathe out. So everyone, if you want to get into a comfortable position, we'll walk through this. All right, imagine that peaceful place. And now take a deep breath in slowly. And breathe out slowly. All right, take a deep breath in again, slowly. And breathe out slowly. Make sure you're filling those lungs up with as much air as possible. And when you're breathing out, expelling as much of it as possible out. All right, take last deep breath in. And breathe out. Great. And this you can do anywhere. Like if you're having a stressful moment, I don't know, if you're in a conflict with someone and you just need a moment to decompress and come back to the situation, I would advise, if you want, walk away from the situation and tell them you'd be right back. You just need a minute, and you can just do this anywhere, this breathing exercise. And just imagining that peaceful place and taking 3 slow, deep breaths in and breathing out. Another one that I really like is called starfish breathing. And this is really simple. You just take one of your hands, and so I have my left hand, and I have left hand palm facing up, and I'm taking my other hand, my pointer finger of my right hand, and basically you're just tracing your hand. So I like to start at the wrist joint below my pinky. And so what you do is when you trace up with your pointer finger on your pinky, you're taking a deep breath in. And then when you trace down back to where your fingers meet your palm, where the joints of your fingers and palms are, tracing down, you breathe out. And then same thing, when you trace up your ring finger, you're breathing in. And then when you're tracing down back to your palm, you're breathing out. So we're gonna walk through this. So starting with whichever hand you choose, palm facing up, and you're going to take your pointer finger and you're gonna trace up your pinky. So tracing up, take a deep breath in. All right, breathe out, tracing down your pinky to your palm. All right, now tracing up your ring finger. Deep breath in. All right, tracing back down towards your palm on your ring finger. And breathe out. All right, breathe in, trace up your middle finger. And now tracing back down your middle finger to meet your palm. Breathe out. All right, and now tracing up your pointer finger. Breathe in. Curving around and back down your pointer finger to meet your palm. And breathe out. All right, now breathe in, tracing up your thumb, curving around, and breathe out as you're tracing down your thumb towards your wrist. And there we go. So just very basic, tracing your hand and using your breath and breathing in and breathing out as you trace each finger of your hand. Great. All right, so our next question, how can getting a healthy amount of sleep help strengthen the immune system? And what are some tips or suggestions that can help you get more optimal sleep? So Brianna, do you want to start with that?
Sure. So one big thing that I've found and that I've talked to counselors about over the years that's really important is not hanging out in your bed during the day. So a lot of you guys are in dorm rooms and it's really tempting to do your homework in your bed and do everything in your bed. But if you spend your daytime wakeful hours in your bed, then your body is not going to associate that with good sleep. So it's really important to only use your bed when you're ready to go to sleep. It's also important to kind of set an ideal sleep time and stick to it. So, like the iPhone or the Apple Watch has some apps that can help with that. I think Fitbit does as well, different technology. But you got to decide when you're going to wake up in the morning and then go backward and see how much sleep you need that night so that you go to bed at an appropriate time. when you're falling asleep, it's important not to be playing on your phone. There's a bunch of studies about the light from your phone keeping you up and things like that. So, you know, get actually ready for bed. And then while you're laying there trying to sleep, you could practice some of these breathing exercises or progressive muscle relaxation or something, so that you're not using your phone, you're not staring at the TV, doing those kind of things, because that's going to keep you awake.
Yes, thank you so much for those tips, Brianna. Yeah, it's very important to try to stick to a schedule so that your body can adapt to that schedule. And just one suggestion to do that. And even though we can't see the light on our phones, some of us at least, our body can still sense light. So that is a big thing too, because our body needs to know, okay, it's not day anymore. It's time to start shutting down and getting that rest. A couple other tips. There's been research that suggests that taking either a warm bath or a warm shower an hour or 90 minutes before bed brings our body to a more kind of a parasympathetic nervous system state, which means that our body is, the nervous system is calmed down and
Oh no, I think we lost Lily momentarily. I think hopefully she will be back. Anthony, did you have anything to add to maintaining a good sleep schedule, or even just some tips for time management and the like, and while you're in college to develop a better sleep habits and schedule?
Absolutely. My whole evening is pretty much planned out. So I mean, I eat dinner no later than 5:30. I try to eat before 5:30. And I begin my wind down to start beginning to sleep around 6:30 p.m. So 6:30 p.m. I brush my teeth, I floss, I wash my face, and I kind of send those signals to my body like we're about to go to bed. I didn't lay down. I didn't sit down and I watch a little bit of TV. I give myself a little bit of time to like decompress and just, just reflect on the day and what I'm going to do tomorrow. I also do not sleep with my cell phone in my bedroom at all. I take it out of the bedroom and I often leave it in the bathroom and I let it charge in there because I don't want to be woken up by any push notifications or anything like that. And I don't really want to turn my phone on airplane mode. God forbid someone calls me and I need to see them this call. But I bought an alarm clock, showing my age there. And I have a physical alarm clock in the bedroom, and I just wait for that to go off in the morning. So if I don't hit an alarm, I don't get out of bed. And if I'm really not tired, then I'll get out of bed and I'll go grab my phone or maybe go try to work out. But yeah, I do not sleep with my phone by my bed. So if you could just try to detach from your phone, like maybe like a little bit after dinner, depending on, what's going on in your guys' lives, take some time to just wind down. Like don't read a book, don't go on social media for at least an hour before you're about to go to bed, just to give your mind time to just wind down. In regards to time management, just make a schedule for yourself. Like if you have certain goals for yourself and you want to get more sleep, just make sure you put that into your day and make time for it. Try to take classes earlier. When I was in school, I took all my classes on one day. I mean, that'd be possible for all you guys, but I would go take all my classes on a Monday. So I had the rest of the week to study, do my internships, go to work, whatever it is I wanted to do. So figure out what works best for you, but leave a lot of time in the day if you like to just hang out and just do other things.
Yeah, I think that time management piece is really important for our classes, and considering not just when we have to be in class, but like how long is it going to take us to write that paper or submit discussion posts, so think about all the things that you have to do for your courses, and also Anthony touching on internships and the other responsibilities. Like having a good schedule can really help us be be accountable to ourselves. So those are good tips. And I see that Lily is back. So we just started the next question, Lily, about time management. And if you want to add anything, I also want to invite Brianna if you want to add thoughts to this topic as well.
Yes, I'm so sorry. My computer decided to restart automatically. All right, time management. Yes, big one in college. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're coming through very clear.
Okay. A couple of things I did in college to keep track of time was keep a calendar and not putting too many things to do on each day. At first I was putting a bunch of things for me to get done each day, and then I wasn't able to accomplish them. So my mentor told me, why don't you just choose a couple important things to get done that day? Ones that are due perhaps closer, well, the due dates are coming up and you need to get them done. And so I would put just a couple things a day that I really needed to get done. And I felt so much better. I was able to get more accomplished and just not be always rushing around and hoping to accomplish more. I felt that I could go to sleep earlier and be able to find time to eat that way too, because that's another thing that I struggled with at first, not being able to make time to eat lunch or dinner just because I have so many things to get done, and that's not good. Eventually your body, it started taking a toll on your body. And also I would set an alarm for like when I wanted to go to bed, or at least a half hour before I wanted to go to bed, I would set an alarm so that I can start winding down. And
I'm loving these tips. I'm thinking, looking at our clock, that maybe we should move into some suggestions for resources from each of you. And while you're sharing that, for our attendees, if you have specific questions, feel free to raise your hand. You can do that with Option Y on a Mac or Alt Y on a PC, and we will unmute you. And you're also welcome to post any questions in the chat. So I'll read those out for our panelists. But before we go to the questions, any closing suggestions for apps or resources on overall wellness?
So this is Brianna. One of the biggest things I would say is, while you're in college, most colleges offer free counseling or mental health services, and it's rare in life that you're going to get those for free. So definitely take advantage of them while you can. I think it's really important to figure out some of your own coping mechanisms and put self-care into your own schedule. But while those resources are free, definitely take advantage of them. Also, the National Alliance on Mental Health, NAMI, NAMI.org, is a good website to learn about different mental health resources near you. They also have access to a crisis text line and a crisis phone line if you're ever in crisis and need assistance in that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know, in accordance with that as well, also, you know, try to connect with some other community in regards to like your physical health. So I mentioned like Achilles International earlier. They have chapters all over. United in Stride is a good one. I mean, I moved out to Minnesota and I didn't have anyone to run with, so I went to United in Stride and I found myself a running buddy, and now we're signed up for a marathon in a few weeks, which is exciting. Catapult, Dare to Try, Paraguide, all these organizations give out funding to like people. So if you do want to get started and like, hey, I think I want to buy like a treadmill, you could apply to a grant. Like I think Catapult is opening up on April 1st. So you could go on Catapult's website, look at the application and say, hey, I want to buy a treadmill. Would you guys help me buying a treadmill? And you know, they gave me a grant last year to buy a bike. So that's how I got going again, you know. So just get connected to some of these communities and don't try to do it by yourself. There's plenty of people out here that's going through the same thing as you. So just don't be afraid to like speak up. And I encourage you guys to just connect with other people that are like-minded and want to do what you're doing.
Thank you, Anthony. And what is that called again? Catapult?
Catapult. It's Catapult.
How do you spell it?
Catapault.
Okay.
And if you want to like just reach out to them, their email address is hellocatapult@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, those are some great resources. I would also suggest a book. It's called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Matthew Walker is a neuroscientist and a professor at the University of California in Berkeley. And he's done a lot of research, and this book pretty much dives into the science behind sleep and dreaming, and it explains how everything works. I'm pretty nerdy when it comes to health and stuff like that, so I love these kinds of books, and I've read this book and I really enjoyed it. And another thing I would suggest is an app called Calm, CALM. It has a bunch of meditations and different activities to do to help calm the mind. Also some breathing exercises. And also...
That one's free, isn't it, Lily?
It is free, yes. You can download that on the App Store. I'm not sure if they have it for Android. They might, but worth checking it out. Yeah.
Excellent. And we're going to be sending, when we send out the recording for this webinar, we'll have a link to a blog with the key takeaways. So if you're frantically jotting down notes, we'll compile a lot of this for you. I'm going to go to our attendees, and it looks like Alira has a question. So I'm going to ask you to unmute and feel free to ask your question.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's funny, I don't know, Jaws is doing this weird thing where it unmutes me and then it mutes me again. So anyway, I'm here now. And so my question, I have a comment, two comments. One is for an app suggestion and the other is about what Anthony said. So the first one is an app suggestion that I found that works really well with mindfulness. Is the app is called Smiling Mind, SMILING space mind, MIND. It is free, and you can, I believe you can log in with Google or Facebook. You can create an account, and then with that, the app has different programs for mindfulness. So if you can pick a situation, for example, stress, or if you just need breathing exercises, or you can even pick the category for young children so that they can do mindfulness, and it'll give you, based on what you picked when you first downloaded the app. Obviously you can change this in settings as well. It'll give you mindfulness activities based on what you chose as your interest level. So if you're an adult, you can choose 18 and older. And it'll just give you different breathing exercises, and it's really nice. I did an accessibility review last summer. It was for the EDGE program, actually, the one Brianna's in, and it was really accessible with VoiceOver. So I recommend that app. And my second comment is about Anthony, what you said before about connecting with people. There's this app going around that I've heard about called Clubhouse, and I just got an invite last week. And it's a really good way to stay connected with the friends. You know, if you have friends that you know who are on Clubhouse, you can connect with them, or they can possibly give you an invite to join. It is invite only, and it's only for iOS. And it allows you to have casual audio conversations with your friends. So it's a really nice app for that. You don't have to be on video. You don't have to worry about, is my camera okay? It's just audio. And when you go into a room, you're muted. but when you want to speak, you can raise your hand just like you do on Zoom. So it's really nice, and they have different categories for different rooms. So that algorithm that the app creates, it'll suggest rooms based on what you selected. So for example, if you like sports, if you like music, you know, if you like blindness related things, it'll suggest rooms then based on what you've pre-selected, and you can join those rooms and have a good time.
Thanks, Alira. I'm gonna just cut you off now because we had a couple other folks. I want to give them time as well. But
Yep, I'm finished. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Lily, we had one question in the chat from Abraham who wanted just a little more, if maybe you want to spend like a minute explaining some of the food suggestions and how they help to cope with stress. And then we're going to go to Mary, who had her hand raised after that.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry. What exactly is it? Is the question? Just elaboration on the foods that I mentioned, or?
I think if you have any high level kinds of science about why those foods help our bodies to manage stress.
Okay, so for example, foods that have magnesium in there, so such as eggs, the sweet potatoes that I mentioned, leafy greens, and some other foods like fish too. A lot of foods have magnesium, but only very small amounts. But I know eggs for sure have a higher amount of magnesium. So that helps with anxiety. It's able to regulate the nervous system more. Magnesium helps more with the neurons in the brain. And I don't know a lot of science behind it. I'm not an expert at it, but definitely it shows that there's research on how it basically activates the neurons in the brain and also the nervous system within.
Excellent.
To calm down.
Yeah, I think also, Abraham, I see that you were speaking more about immune boosting. So I would just encourage you, if you have more specifics, reaching out to your own physician or nutritionist to get more of that science behind how it affects your own body would be a good next step. So moving on, Mary, if you want to unmute to ask your question.
Yeah, earlier my audio cut out on me, and I was just wondering what you all mentioned earlier, a little bit ago.
We will be sharing out a recording and a blog with the highlights. So if there's anything you missed, you're welcome to listen back. I'm going to move on to, let's see here, Christina Moore. What's up, Christina?
Hi, I was wondering earlier, someone mentioned like different types of exercises and exercising. How do you learn the different types of exercises?
I work with like a coach sometime. So one of the organizations called Paraguide, they have like certified USATF like coaches, like United States of America track and field coaches, and they create plans for people. So if you Google like a Paraguide, they have like some coaches on there, and they create plans, and they also go through exercises with you. And they gave me like floor routines and stuff like every single day, and they like go through it with you. You know what I mean? So I stay with you on the phone, like, hey, do this. Put your forearms on the floor, stretch out, put your body straight, put your toes down.
Okay, you know? That's cool.
So I can let Abigail know, and I'll send her some links, and she'll send it out with the blogs, and I'm pretty sure she'll send it out with the highlights and stuff like that. So if you guys want to connect with them, you could just reach out. But on Facebook and Instagram, they're just Paraguide, and let them know Anthony sent you.
Paraguide.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and also another resource is Blind Alive. If you just Google Blind Alive, she has some MP3 files of different exercises, and she's very good at explaining the exercise.
Oh
and
yes,
it's
yes.
free.
I think I remember those from somewhere. That sounds familiar.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. And I also real quick, I also wanted to comment on you mentioned earlier the crisis lines. The text line is 24/7. The NAMI line isn't, but the text line is.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
I just know that because I volunteer with them, so that's how I know that. So
Very, very cool.
Thank you.
We are winding down here. As I've mentioned a couple times, we will be sharing out a link of the recording. Katie and Kristen Wojtecki, who's on our team, will be pulling together a blog to cover the highlights. And if you ever want to reach out to us, you have additional questions, feel free to email us at csp@learningally.org. And we are happy to answer questions, connect you to broader things, get you connected with one of our mentors. Lily, Anthony, and Brianna are all mentors for our College Success Program. And we have several others. So it doesn't look like we have any other questions. So I want to just pass it back to the three of you for a quick wrap up if there's any last thoughts that you had before we sign off.
Yeah, like I said, I encourage you to just connect with people. And like I said, the CSP meetups, we have like phone calls on Tuesdays and Fridays hosted by some of our mentors. It's a place where you can come and like ask questions and like get advice, but most of all, it's just a place where you can come and just have some friends. You know, people come when they're in crisis, people come when they just have some good news, and people just come overall to just hear from their friends. So I encourage you guys, if you're thinking about joining the CSP program and getting a mentor, join one of the calls on Tuesdays and Fridays and just, you know, feel it out and just, you know, it'll be great.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. Also, I just want to add, definitely do some research and on all these things that we mentioned today. If you want more info, definitely a lot of good resources online, like Healthline is a great website. And I would say some immune boosting things you can get out of your diet too, like vitamin C is a suggestion. You can get a lot of that through like citrus fruits and stuff, but definitely consult your doctor and a nutritionist, and they'll be able to direct you more in the right direction.
And I just want to, I just want to thank everyone for listening with us this evening. And if you take away nothing else on the mental health side, please find some good self-care routine for yourself, whether it's reading a book or taking a walk or watching TV. Just find something that makes you relax and schedule that into your day. I hope everyone has a really great week ahead of them, and please let us know if you have any questions.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us today.